Welcome back to Flip That Script. I'm Dana, and normally you'd hear Holly right here with me, but she's not here today. She's at home taking some much needed rest, and we're going to send her all the love for speedy recovery. But I'm not alone today. I've got a special guest stepping in. Stephen is here with me. He's a fellow hypnotherapist, a friend that I met while studying at HMI, and he's absolutely just as obsessed in the best possible way with all things hypnosis, just as we are. So today we're going to dig into what drew us both into this work, bust a few myths maybe about hypnosis, share some practical tools and that maybe you can use right away to shift your mind, your energy, your life. So let's think of this episode as a tag team session. Just two hypnotists geeking out, trading stories, and hopefully giving you a few aha moments along the way. So, Stephen, would you like to say hello?
That was delightful. Thank you so much for the lovely introduction, Dana. Hi, I'm thrilled and honored to be here. What kind of questions you got today?
Wow. But I'm glad that you're here with us, or with me today. I know that our listeners are going to just love hearing your perspective on things because I know I do, and I've got to hear them, but nobody else has yet.
Well, I hope that's a good thing. I do have opinions and I do have perspectives.
So what?
Whether there's much value to be found, we have yet to see.
Oh, there is. What, Stephen? What first pulled you towards hypnosis? Like, where was that moment where it just clicked for you that this is what I want to do?
The moment where it clicked, or the moment where I found it? There are two different.
Oh, I would like to know both.
There are a few different moments. There are. So, let me just give you the rundown. So, I was visiting family on a Christmas Eve, the one time of year that I listened to the radio that wasn't, public radio. Which my town has a great public radio station, by the way. It plays rock music all day long. I love it. But we had the radio on to hear Christmas music on the drive home. And I heard an advertisement come on the radio, and it said, "Do you like to help people?" I was like, well, yes, I do. Check. Flexible hours? Check. No experience necessary? Check. Like, okay. This is good. I'm interested to hear where you're going with this, because I was at a crossroads in life. I had to move from one place to another, not realizing that 100-mile distance to travel and move, the entire business network I had built over the past 20 plus years didn't move with me. So I came to the area I'm in now with absolutely no contacts. So I was in a bit of a state of a panic, going, oh yeah, I don't know anybody here. This is going to be harder to find a job than I expected when I moved, because I couldn't bring my job with me. So the commercial was for a local hypnotherapy clinic. Like, well, okay, hypnotherapy. So I looked it up. I did some research. I spoke to the gentleman afterwards, and he was a graduate of HMI. His plan was to have me do the very basic course and then work with him and build that there. Well, I began my journey at HMI, and it was more impactful than I thought right out of the gate. I knew it was something that I hadn't yet studied. It was something I didn't nerd out on, and it was fascinating. And I went, all right, so there's a school where you can learn this stuff, and there's a genuine career that you can build out of it. Fair enough. I've never explored this. So I ended up deciding to take the full first year with the opportunity to do the second year if I wanted to. By about 3 months into it, I knew that I was going to want to do the second year. My very first practicum, working with my very first fellow student, and we had to do our arm raising. This was the first kind of, oh wow, this is real aha moment for me. So I with great trepidation, I approached this script in front of me, and I gave it my best shot to read it as good as I could with having no knowledge of what I was doing, really. Turns out I knew more about this stuff than I thought. But I read this script, and I'm hoping that my fellow student, who's just as scared and just as new at this, was was going to have some patience with me. We were told to be good clients, understandably so. So I was asking to raise her hand, doing the lifting, twisting, rising, turning, twitching, just any word I could think of to change it up, because I felt like I was repeating the same thing over and over, and I found myself going, wow, maybe she doesn't like me. This is really a miserable experience. I wish she'd just raise her arm. And then it hit me. She went under. So my very first experience with even reciting anything that had anything to do with the act of attempting to put someone into a state of hypnosis worked. and I kind of panicked a little on the inside. It really hit me. Oh, wow. This woman is under. That's why she wasn't moving her hand very fast. It's because it was legitimately happening. And it was going up at the natural pace, and her pace was a little bit slower. And we finish it up. I realize I have very little time left, so I throw in some extra suggestions from what we had talked about, the banter beforehand, and bring her back out. And her response was very much like, whoa, what on earth just happened to me? So we both had a very kind of crazy experience there. So that was the moment I realized it was real. As for when I knew it was what I wanted to do, it was shortly after we initially did the transpersonal psychosynthesis workshop the very first time.
Okay.
That was transformative. But I worked with an individual shortly after that. I know it was early on in our first year, and I had done some attempt at coming up with my own style. So I wrote a script. I stayed up one night till probably 4 o'clock in the morning. Okay, so for example, I did something along the lines of let me see if I can use my fanciness that I've just figured out how to do. Fancy. Sometimes words like fanciness are all you really need to say something. So I sat there like this, reading to myself, seeing these words over and over and over in my head as I tried to reach down inside and grab hold of whatever that ember was that I could feel burning in there, that I knew there was something alive that I had to pull out of me that I'd never seen before. So for the next 4.5 hours straight, possibly closer to 5, I sat there with a song, a 10-hour-long track that I found online that sounded similar to this, and I poured everything I had into this experience. Poured myself into it. I've been a performer for years. I know the rush of singing for thousands of people at a big festival and them singing along with you. It was nothing in comparison to the feeling I had that night. And I was alone, speaking to no one but myself.
His words are power. They're powerful.
So I spent that 4.5 hours and wrote the Reboot script that you've experienced. That was my very first attempt at writing a hypnosis script. My very
Someday
first
we
one.
hope to have you on here to do that for us.
It would be an honor to be able to share that with your listeners. That's what they call them in this fancy world, right? Listeners.
Listeners, yes.
Listeners.
Viewers too. I mean, you are on.
Oh,
on
yeah.
video.
Hi. So yeah, I didn't mean to get overly dramatic, but that was the experience for me. I had never connected with that deep a point in myself before, and I was able to do that with just words and intent. That was it. Words and the intent to make a difference for others turned around. I wrote what I needed to hear in order to heal. That is to date, the deepest I have ever been in hypnosis. Ever was that moment. So of course I have that to live up to now. So my first real time going under, I put myself there, and then now I struggle to get back. But that's an ongoing project for me. But that's what made me realize I was built to do this I know that, oh my God, this sounds so cheesy. It feels so cheesy to say these things because I hear others say them and I kind of go, oh, okay, yeah, here we go. All right.
Yeah.
Tell tell me about the transformative experience, man. I just love that. I hear myself say these things, but it couldn't possibly be more genuine. Like this literally changed my life.
Hmm.
There are few things in my life that have had that big of an impact, and this is one of them. Is that a good enough backstory for you?
That's excellent.
That is my
What
origin
I
story.
do have a question though. Why did you pick HMI? Did you look at any other schools?
No, because this guy that I had heard from early in my origin story, a after connecting with him, he had gone to HMI, and his plan was, I believe they had this 300-hour certified master hypnotist, and then he was going to do the rest of the hands-on training. So I would be a CMH working at his hypnotherapy clinic. I found that I had a knack for this, and it became a calling, not a career. But this, I love to make music. I love to entertain. I love to tell stories. I love to help people realize their potential. I love the thought of being that stranger that comes up out of nowhere. Nothing to work with me on this, all right? That stranger that just shows up, helps you solve some problem with your car or with some piece of machinery or some problem, existential crisis you're having, like the guardian angels you'd see in a movie. And I love the thought of being that some random guy at the dinner table. I love the thought of having such a subtle but powerful impact on someone's life that they would go, I met the weirdest guy today, but he came out of nowhere and he told me exactly what I needed to hear right when I needed to hear it. And then he just disappeared. Mm-hmm. I've had so many experiences like that through my life because I seek them out. You can talk about laws of attraction and say, yeah, bring them to me. I put myself in a state to see them better, and I seek them out because they fulfill me. And then I found hypnotherapy. See, I was like that my entire life. I was always looking to help somebody else be happy. A lot of it came from the fact that I didn't believe I could be happy, or I deserved happiness, or all the things that people struggle with. But I channeled that energy into trying to help other people, and it just kind of became what sustained me. And then I find this career. It's root cause problem solving. It's deeply creative analysis and process improvement. It's understanding something that you can't really understand, the human mind and the experience of existing. Well, that's not something that anybody can prove me wrong on. So I'm allowed to come up with whatever crazy angles and theories I want to when it comes to trying to help people problem solve. This is literally the career I have been building myself towards my entire life, and I never knew it existed. So I'm kind of a nerd for this stuff.
So it sounds like it's more than just a career really for you. It's almost like it's a special interest, or you're, like how do you
welcome, okay, if you would, welcome to my ADHD. The entire point of saying all of that stuff, and yes, I'm very comfortable with that diagnosis. All of the buildup was to tell you this is the first time in my life I understood the meaning of a calling.
I feel the same way.
It was that powerful, and I sense that in you and Holly both.
I
think that's why I appreciate it so much.
Coming into this school, I didn't realize how much hypnotherapy really could do. Mm-hmm. Like the stopping the blood, stopping someone from bleeding. Like I never even thought that would be a thing, except in movies. And when I heard about a hypno epidural, I was like, what? Where was this when I was having babies? Like,
oh, funny.
And I think I heard about that in my very first class at HMI, because someone in there said that she had it done and she was amazed. And that's why she was becoming a hypnotherapist. And I was like, so jealous.
That is amazing. The nerd in me wants to know if that is only for people who have strong sensory recall to where they can turn feelings on and turn feelings off conversely. I have none of that. So this is the other reason why hypnosis was really hard to work on me. I don't see with my eyes closed. I don't hear when it's quiet. I can't hear a voice narrate in my head. I always thought that was a movie trick, just to tell a story. Reading a letter, hearing grandpa's voice in your head. I did not realize that people do that. Like,
Yeah.
that was an absolute shock to me. And it was an even bigger shock to experience that everybody I talked to about this was like, wait, you don't? You don't see things with your eyes? You don't hear? Can you feel? Nope, none of it. So that is that problem for me that I want to figure out, because so much of this is built for people that can do that. The fact that you can stop pain with words. I mean, words can be the most devastatingly painful thing to hear, but yet words can stop pain. Words can stop bleeding. Words can change your entire worldview on purpose the way you want it to.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
It's some next level stuff right here.
Yeah.
So for people who are scared of doing just what we did, diving in to something that is foreign and strange, but they love it, what would you say? What would you tell them?
Potential clients or potential hypnotherapists?
Potential hypnotherapists or potential clients. I mean, there's a lot of people that are skeptical too. A lot of skepticism against hypnosis.
Okay, run the second part by me again, real quick.
I said there's a lot of skepticism against hypnosis.
From the client side?
From the client side.
Okay. From the hypnotherapist side, it's going to change based on what you want out of it. The deeper in I go, and this is a gross, very derivative kind of oversimplification of it, but there is the oil change version of hypnosis, and then there is the family mechanic of 30 years version of hypnotherapy. One is very, very custom tailored and very ultimately intimate in the exchanges that go back and forth with a client to help them work past blocks and reach their potential. I mean, I only focus on the positive if at all possible. You deal with the negative all the time. It's what brought you in. So for that hour and a half that we talk, we're going to talk as little about it as we need to. Enough to get to where we need to be, but that's it. Then we're going to focus on the positive. This is your break from that. There's that version. Then there is this is not knocking hypnosis and hypnotherapy. This is exempling the power and versatility that it has. Just as you can take and change somebody's complete worldview on one side to where they can overcome years of negative programming from wherever that programming came from, be it family, trauma, TV, poor music choice, poor friend choice, poor decisions on your end. You can also turn around and just stop biting your nails, or learn to smile more, or be better at your golf swing. It can do that too. It is the ultimate human multi-tool for living and experiencing the world around you. It literally does both. It is the answer to what talk therapy lacks. Talk therapy is essential. That is the surgical care unit where they clean out the wound and they make sure it's properly dealt with and all the infection is gone. They do that emotionally in talk therapy, but then you're kind of on your own because there's another person with horrible issues waiting in line for an appointment. And it's like, hey, we got that cleaned out, go be well. But there isn't as much ongoing support because of the nature of the industry to be able to give you the tools to continue forward with. In hypnotherapy and hypnosis, pull up that end of it. So it will depend upon what kind of hypno career you want. Would you like to be the type who, do you thrive more in a let's crank them out, not crank them out, but let's do quick to the point, surface, deal with the symptoms, shut the irritants off, that kind of stuff that you can just crank right through, and it doesn't need a lot of big time and talk. You can do that much more easily, and you can build a solid career off of it if it's what speaks to you. That doesn't speak to me. I want the more in-depth, custom-tailored, really rich experience for somebody. I can do both. I lean more towards this because this is the type of hypnosis and hypnotherapy that fulfills me and makes me happy. I know several very, very skilled hypnotherapists that lean the other way. They love to help people with those. This thing has irritated me forever. Can you help me with this? And boom, in one session, sometimes they get it to go away. That is life-changing for some people. And that's great. But that's the type of hypnosis and hypnotherapy that calls to them. Follow what will make you feel fulfilled. Because if you don't, it will turn into a job. Something you may enjoy, something you are skilled at, but don't truly love. The more you can love this job, the better hypnotherapist you're going to be. And to love this job, you have to do it the way you feel is the right way for you. HMI gives you a diverse set of tools. That's wonderful. But you then have to take up the agency of figuring out how it's going to work for you in the long run.
And how to make it yours.
Yes, that is 100%. The common thread I see between all successful hypnotherapists is their practice is absolutely stunningly unique to them. You can tell in the practice who the hypnotherapist is. I think that makes sense. Yes.
It does make sense.
You could describe someone's practice and tell me, match the hypnotherapist, and I could probably, with pretty good accuracy, line them all up. Make it your own. And for the skeptics out there, it isn't the movies. It isn't magic, but the experience can be absolutely magical. Absolutely. It is as simple as intent and the will to want to change and focus on the positivity and careful word choice and repetition and getting yourself into that state where you're willing to finally listen to your own good advice. And it works. Not everybody's experience is going to be the ones you see in the movies or on stage. That is a specific type of person. And that person really wants that to happen. See, that's the key. They want to cluck like a chicken, or they wouldn't have been willing to go to a hypnotist show. They wouldn't have been raising their hand. Yeah. And they are the best of the best of the best of the suggestibles, where they can clearly, vividly see things, where they have not just hyperphantasia, but prophantasia, which is where you can project images into your reality. This is where delusions and hallucinations can come really viscerally strong for some people, as if they have prophantasia, where they not just accurate, but man, they see it, they can see things and visualize a plant on their desk. Those people who can recall those senses so quickly and vividly are the ones you see on stage, because that's what that does. But it works for everybody. It is a tool that works. Simple as that. And when you work with your hypnotherapist, they are going to explain exactly why it works. But it does work.
So I have a story.
Oh, please.
Story here. My biggest critic was my father when I started this, okay? And my dad, he's older. He's 85 years old. And he just thought it was some crazy thing his daughter was doing. I do all kinds of crazy things. And I remember when we first started practicing, we were practicing on our families. We were practicing on anybody that would let us when we first started school. And I went there and I practiced on my mother, and she went in. She went in pretty deep. She went into the amnesia state. She couldn't remember what I said. I thought she fell asleep. I didn't think it actually worked until I did it and just said some things about that she wasn't going to be so angry and she wasn't going to fight. Like, she would not fight. I didn't use that word, but argue. She wasn't going to be as argumentative. She was going to think about things and take a breath before saying the words that she'd say. And my sister ended up staying a week at her house because her water went out at her house. So she stayed a week with my parents. And they did not argue, not once. And if you knew my mother, they would have been arguing day one. But I tried to hypnotize my father, and he was like acting goofy while I was doing it. He was just doing stupid things instead of actually listening to what I was saying. And I was like, I'm not even trying on you, you know? And I never tried on him again. Earlier today, rather, I was at his house, and just yesterday I made a TikTok, right? It's just a quick little 1 minute relaxation. And he's not on anything like that. He doesn't know anything. And my sister had said something about it. And then he questioned, I said, do you want to watch it? And he's like, sure. So I put it on my phone and I gave it to him. I said, just hit play. And I was doing things at the house. And then I hear it going on its second loop, and I turn around and he's got his eyes closed. He's sleeping. And I said, Dad, it's done. And he jumped and he's like, well, it put me to sleep. And I was like, well, okay, I guess I can hypnotize my dad.
It's probably the best power nap he'd gotten in a long time, too.
But I thought, yeah, there you go. Now you know.
Are you looking
he was a little shocked with it too. He was really surprised. He said about it a few more times. He's like, I can't believe I fell asleep to that. I was like, well,
maybe you could just make him a recording and send it to him. You know, I'm sure, as I would guess, as a young child, you probably drew pictures. Here I drew you a picture. Here I made you a recording. It's your equivalent of drawing a picture right now. That's completely acceptable. Let him be proud of you. Show him how good you are.
No, I mean, he is proud of me. He always was proud of me, but he never said anything bad, but it's just the way he acted. And that's just how my dad is, you know, just goofy.
Because he knew you were good at what you did, and he knew there was a possibility it was going to work, and he didn't know what to expect. Completely understandable.
Yeah.
But he got to experience it, and that's really cool.
And it was, I didn't even expect that. I was in shock that he fell asleep.
All right, so let's get a little deeper on that subject for a second real quick. You, as the up-and-coming hypnotherapist, the one who was the kid, always wants to impress the parents, him being your toughest nut to crack, how did the lifelong version of you feel at that moment? Not the professional.
Pretty dang good.
Yeah.
Pretty dang good.
Kind of like one of those, what do the young kids say? Hashtag life goals? Is that it? Is that one of those things that you just kind of, I would imagine, if that were my experience, feeling kind of like complete in a sense, like, yeah, I did it. So proud of me. Good.
I did. I felt it was, he fell asleep.
That is so very cool.
No. And I also remember them telling us that it wouldn't work on family, but it works on my family.
I have counters to that. I know they say it doesn't work on family. I challenge that. It is a matter of trust. Mm-hmm. It is a matter of willingness, because with rapid inductions, one of the keys is, do you want to be hypnotized? Do you want me to hypnotize you? It's a verbal contract, because it shows there's ownership on the part of both people involved, the hypnotist and the hypnotee, I guess. Is that what you call them? Hypnotee, that's what I'm going to call them from now on.
That's what we'll call it from now on.
Hypnotees. There is that agreement of trust. You can do that with anybody. Okay. And I will explain my thinkings on why the approach is you don't work with family. If a brand new student with no skill can put somebody else into hypnosis simply by reading the words. Now, I probably sounded a lot like this when I did them. I get into stuff when I read them, but I have talked to plenty a new hypnotist, hypnotherapist that says, I botched the words. I said the wrong client's name. I screwed up. I read the same sentence twice. I skipped the first two numbers of the count out. Horror story. And it worked. And the client had really good results.
Mm-hmm.
If you can do that, it is such an effective tool that it would obviously work on family. Because of words done poorly, misguidedly, however you want to screw something up, if it can still work there, it can work with family. The issue is that secondary relationship. You don't want to be their therapist, hypnotherapist.
Right.
To work with them with their problems. That's why they said, so think about it like this. And this is how I justified this understanding for myself. They say, don't work with family, but you can practice on family. They know that if the words are so powerful that somebody who's new can completely botch their first attempt and still get hypnosis to work, that you could then do this with family and yield the same kind of results. Because it's so powerful, and because when you first start this, you're oftentimes a little on the naive side, I understand why they would recommend against that. Not becoming their hypnotherapist. But it doesn't change the fact that I could listen to a family member's issues, something they want to work on. I could make a recording and put that recording online. They could listen to it. Am I performing hypnotherapy? No.
Yes. Well, not therapy. You're not doing
but
the
not
therapy
to them.
part. Right.
But I am. And it's family.
Sort of.
It's the interaction of, you don't want to get caught in the, now I'm going to complain about your mom to you, because we're talking traumas here and in life and fights, and or working with a friend or in exchange for something, because then it kind of commodifies it and it becomes a business relationship. There are things that can cause issues with it. But to me, next to family, who do people usually trust the most with sensitive stuff? Their therapist, or somebody they can be a confidant or have as a confidant. So you already have that built in with family. My family trusts that I will do absolutely right by them. And It's just relaxation techniques. It's specific word choice. It's them letting go. Because they could sit there and walk in a circle and listen to this without going in hypnosis, just hear the words, la, 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 and know that I'm not saying anything dangerous. Know that I'm not going, you're going to give me all your money, and trying to slip something in there. That would never happen. But you understand where I'm going with that. It is a matter of the appropriate interaction with family. So yes, you can absolutely.
I think it would all depend on what, on what their issue was, what their presenting issue is. Like, if my sister wants to lose weight, she asked me about it, and this is before, and I told her, we're not supposed to work with family. I can give you someone else's name. You can get, no, I don't want anybody else. I want you. That was her answer. She's like, I said, well, there might be something that comes up that you might not want to talk to me about. You might not want to tell me. And she said, there's nothing I won't tell you. And, she's like, that's dumb. She's like, you already know everything. But
I've helped my dad. I've helped both my brothers in one way or another. I don't have an issue with using a skill that I've learned to help my family lead happier lives.
Right.
I don't talk to them about their trauma, but if they're feeling anxious about something, I can absolutely. Who do they trust? They trust me because they know of my training. They know of my passion for this. They've heard my work. They've listened to it before, and they liked what they heard.
Right.
I can talk my little brother into a state of calm, give him the suggestions that he wants me to give him, and count him back out. I'm not doing therapy. I'm using that tool that hypnosis is to help another human being who happens to be related to me, to help another human being overcome something they're struggling with. Parents, I realized this, that with my kids when they were really little, I read them bedtime stories. I've turned them into relaxation hypnosis scripts. I'm doing an entire series on them. These are the story clouds in the idea sky, one of which you've heard that was inspired by the bedtime stories I used to tell my daughters. Little did I know at the time I was utilizing storytelling, conversational style hypnosis, getting them to relax and let their imaginations float up and away. I wasn't doing any counting or didn't need to. It got them to the place of relaxation they needed. And every story had a moral or some kind of dad message to teach about being a good person, kind of a deal. And I'd incorporate that because I love telling stories. I incorporate that into the bedtime story until they fell asleep. That's hypnosis. I was doing it, not realizing it. It is a natural part. And this is what goes to the skeptics. It is literally the most natural thing that keeps our society bound together is storytelling. Good storytellers are hypnotists, period. When you get sucked into that feeling, that vibe where the room starts to close off and you get kind of wrapped in this invisible pillowy blanket of gooey goodness and you're just like hanging on every word of the storyteller, almost like you're there in the story. That's hypnosis. Welcome. You've already been there. Everybody who's gotten sucked into a story has been hypnotized. It's not quack, quack like a duck. It is get sucked in to where you can listen and really, really, really learn. Not just listen to a story, but really hear the message in the story and have it resonate. We've all been there. For the skeptics out there, there is stage hypnosis. There is movie hypnosis. And then there is actual hypnosis that does what storytellers do, but on purpose, with a specific message. It is as real as storytelling has been throughout all of human history.
See, I am what we do. And always have been. My family's storyteller. We go to camp every year. We're at the fire. Who's telling a story? I'm not surprised. My kids and my nieces, when they were younger, there was these other kids camping and we're sitting up at the fire. We're just talking. You know, my brother, my sister, and I were all just sitting there. All the kids come up and they're like, Aunt Dana, tell a story. Scare these kids. And I'm like, you can't just come up here and instruct me to scare children I don't know. But I did. My stories were scary then. They're not scary anymore.
I would guess they were a little more on the psychologically scary side. Where there was a little more twisty-turny to them.
There was.
Not just jump scare. Good storytellers.
Good storytellers. For some reason, there was an abundance of stray cats there one year. And there was an abandoned shed up in the woods that I knew about that you couldn't see until you walked into the woods a little bit.
Oh, how beautifully creepy.
And I told the kids this story about, there was a witch in that shed. She doesn't like kids, and that's where all these cats came from. It was a longer story than this, but the cats were kids that misbehaved and went too far into the forest away from their parents, and the witch got a hold of them. And then the parents couldn't find the kids, and here they are, all these cats. And my niece is sitting there going, I know you're making this up. I'm like, I'm not. Why would I lie to you? And she's like, yeah. And she was, I'm too old for this. I'm too old for this. And I finished the story out. And the whole time, she didn't believe me. She's too old for this. And it was time for the kids to go to bed. And I'm still out at the fire. And I hear my niece in there crying and my sister yelling at me, would you please tell her that you made that story up? And I was like, I'm not going to lie to her just so she'll go to bed.
Oh, good grief.
My sister was so mad at me that week.
Sad.
But I mean,
So
They loved it. They loved it.
so here is how these are the patterns and things that I look for and what I see in people. That story is, and this ties right into hypnosis and hypnotherapy and how it works with the knowns and unknowns and these just absolute truths that are etched into the programming in our subconscious. These are where bad habits live. These are where the reason why you can't get rid of bad habits lives.
Yes.
Okay. It's easy to say I don't want to do this anymore. It's easy to say I'm not going to. I intend not to do this anymore. Not doing it anymore is the challenge. This is that programming. This story, for the rest of their lives, when someone says, think of a scary story, this is going to be the first thing that pops into their heads, period.
Right?
This is that story that will carry them as what the benchmark for what a scary story is supposed to, the experience of hearing a scary story. This is now coded in their subconscious. That is a legacy that comes from your storytelling that will then influence their storytelling for their next generation that follows them when they then tell stories. This is how this all works. And it's so exciting because that simple fact can change people's lives, can change societies if just the thinking changes. And hypnosis is, you know what? I just want to hypnotize the entire world and just make them really cool, chill people. That'd be great.
Know. That would be. One client at a time. We're going to get the whole world.
You know, if on a grander scheme, if you could hypnotize the entire world to be nice, self-aware, caring, compassionate people, right? Good neighbors, good people. Hypnosis only works with the people who really want it to work. You can't be made to do something that you wouldn't normally do in real life. So the people that didn't benefit from it, would they be the scary people?
And on that, though, another twist to that, Stephen, is what is their perception of what a good neighbor is? Or what is nice to them?
Yeah. I suppose it's possible we could create a monster.
Good.
I don't know.
I mean, nobody does anything saying, I want to be evil or I want to be. Nobody wants to be evil.
I've never known somebody who made it a point to be. I've met some pretty dark, evil people, but it wasn't like it was a conscious choice for them. They're just bad people. But yeah, you're right. I don't know anybody who's like, you know what, today, I think I'm going to be evil today. Yeah,
I guess we can't say all evil is done with good intentions, but most evil is done with good intentions. I would say
all behavior is self-serving.
Self-serving, yes.
Maybe even good behavior. Unless you are a truly altruistic person, we do nice things for other people because that in turn makes us feel good. If it were a painful experience and made you feel terrible every time you did something nice for somebody, well, you would probably stop doing nice things to avoid the pain that comes from it and the discomfort and the depression and the sadness. Doing good things for people makes us feel good as people. If it didn't make us feel good, we do it to make us feel good. Primarily, yeah, I think so. But there's nothing wrong with that. That's good. That's being nice makes me feel good. So I want to be even nicer. Hopefully you'll feel good and you'll want to be a nice person too. I hope it's contagious. But then you get those people that they don't roll that way, I guess.
They don't care. There are some times where you're nice and you do get hurt.
Yeah, but is that a reason to stop being nice?
No.
No. But if it always hurt you,
but if it always did, then probably no.
No, we'd probably avoid it a lot more. I mean, yes, you can argue up and down that, well, there is going to be special cases where, I get it.
Yeah.
But for all intents and purposes, for the purposes of this conversation, yeah, that's exactly how it works. We're so wise. Listen to us. So,
but I think the people that do get hurt and still do the nice thing They are scared of what would happen if they didn't do the nice thing.
Absolutely.
It might be worse than the getting hurt while doing the nice thing.
But that is still a positive. I do
Still a
this
positive.
so I don't get hurt.
It's still a positive.
I am afraid. This alleviates the fear.
Mm-hmm.
It's still a positive result. People who
Right.
hurt themselves, what's positive about self-harm? It takes you out of the deeper pain you're in. Okay.
The emotional.
All the way up to our most horrible behaviors, our self-damaging behaviors, the worst of the things people go through, there's usually a positive attempt of some kind. There is a want, a desire, a need to do this thing. If you can find what that is and help them identify that, you're still talking about a positive, but now we're just changing the positive into a helpful, proactive positive, not a destructive, maladaptive positive. It's just reframe your story, reclaim your strength, I guess.
And that's how we get stuck in cycles of people pleasing. Because we're afraid to not please and other cycles too, but yeah. I went off.
No, I want to talk more about that. That's a good topic.
You like the topic?
Yeah, that's a great topic. Too many people do it. I spent my entire life confused watching people fakely please others for no other reason than to avoid the shame of not pleasing people. It was a strange experience. I'm deep into the neurodivergent side of this, the spectrum we all live on. I'm on a spectrum of my own. It was always confusing. Why would people lie to make somebody feel good when they're asking them a truthful question about, is this outfit flattering on me or not? Well, you wouldn't ask me if my line of thought was, well, you wouldn't ask me if you didn't want me to answer because you don't want to look bad going out. You want to look good going out. So I'll say, I would try to be very tactful and say, well, there's more flattering options. That might not be the best one for this evening. But I watched other people say things like, oh my God, you look so good in it. Just wear it. You look good in everything. When that was literally the farthest thing from the truth. And I'm sitting there going, no, that looks absolutely horrible on that person. Why would you tell them that looks good? They're going to look like an idiot going out in public in that thing. And then they get mad. Why didn't you tell me it didn't look? Why didn't you tell me it looks so bad?
Why didn't you tell me?
And that just compounds the ridiculousness of all of this. And I'm going, okay, now you're mad. Well, I would be mad if I asked that question. And this is where I found myself getting stuck in this logic loop. I would ask myself that question then, well, okay, I would be mad if I asked somebody, hey, does this outfit look okay? And they told me, oh my God, it looks great. And I went out and I looked terrible. I would come back with this attitude of, you didn't tell me and I asked you a question. You lied to me. They get mad about that. But here's the deal. I find out after that, that's the expectation. You're supposed to lie to the person.
Mm-hmm.
But your body language is supposed to tell them the truth behind it. This unspoken social communication where, oh, it looks good. You know I'm saying it looks good because that's the right thing to do, but I'm giving you the it looks good. That's the subtle hint for you to go change, but I'm supposed to tell you it looks good. Yeah, it looks really good. Okay. Maybe that person, maybe I think I'll try something else on. Why can't you just say, no, it doesn't? And have that be okay. I don't get people pleasing. So this is a fascinating topic for me. I'm interested to hear any of your thoughts on it.
I think that you can find people that would be okay with that. And I would be okay with that as long as that's not all you ever said to me, was that I don't look good in anything I wear.
for argument's sake, question. And I realize the unlikelihood of this being the case, but what if that were actually the truth? Like if really every outfit you asked for feedback on was really not a good outfit for you. Wouldn't you still want the truth?
Well, are you going to give me options that would look good?
See, now you bring in healthy, positive constructive,
feedback.
supportive, interpersonal communication.
Hmm.
That's where the magic really happens.
Like, I don't like that shirt on you, Stephen. I like the blue one that you wore last week to that picnic. I think that would be a great color on you to wear to this meeting.
And that is very nice. And essentially, what my experience was one human being likes me in that blue shirt. One person. We get so hung up, and this is where this is the observations I've made, and just people is this is where it falls apart. That person says, oh, I like that blue one. Oh, that means you don't like this light tan one, this natural cotton one that I have on. Oh, but I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to go, so do you not like the tan one I'm wearing? No, we don't do that because that will make the other person feel bad. And we don't want to make people feel bad and uncomfortable. We want to be nice, and we want all of our conversation to be smooth. It can be callous and shallow and sharp underneath, but it's got to be smooth on top. So I don't say that, but that can leave me thinking, well, I wonder how many other people don't like my tan shirt. Is blue really my color? And we get stuck into this belief that, well, one person said it's no good. That must mean everybody thinks that. I must have looked terrible. What a fool for wearing that tan shirt. Stupid. God, I should have worn that blue one. And then we see people do drastic shifts where they just go start buying a whole bunch of blue shirts. I've seen these weird things happen, and they usually center around a single comment or two that was made. When in all reality, thank you for liking my blue shirt. That's all we ever need to do. I may hate it. Okay? So in polite society then, if you say you really like that blue shirt, and I absolutely detest that blue shirt, should I wear it again? Because you like it? If I hate it and it doesn't make me happy, society would say, yes, it's just a shirt. You should wear it. Why?
That's society.
Problem with society.
But I would say, don't wear a shirt that doesn't make you happy.
Exactly.
Don't wear a shirt.
Or maybe, what if I said, hypnotize me into liking that blue shirt? Do you think it's possible?
I do think that it would be possible if you really wanted to like the blue shirt. But should I hypnotize you into liking that blue shirt is the question.
Then what if I said, I typically like blues to be my favorite color, but then because of a bad experience I had, people in blue shirts really bother me. And now that you said I look good in blue, that makes me think that I'm a person who I should be wearing blue. That means that I'm like the people who wear blue that really bother me. And we make these weird associations deep in our subconscious that we can't shake. So then, if I said, I really want to be able to like blue shirts because I do like the color blue, but it's because of this experience, could hypnosis then help me like my blue shirts?
But still,
Yes,
we would have to go into what that experience was and uncover maybe not so nice things.
It's just, again, a testament to how utterly versatile hypnosis is. It's kind of like Doctor Who's screwdriver that just does everything.
Yes.
It's so powerful. It just does everything. I love that. It's such a neat tool and a neat experience, and it is the most natural way I have ever experienced to work through an issue. I've had very good luck with talk therapy endeavors over the years, but nothing quite like this. It's different. Is it the same? No, it's not supposed to be. But it's the missing component, 100%. This is the physical therapy after the surgery. How do you learn to live going forward? How do you stay positive going forward? How, great. Now we cleaned out this emotional wound in talk therapy, but how do I keep it clean? How do I protect the stitches while it heals? How do I make sure I change the dressings, so to speak? This is what fills that role.
I think that sometimes hypnotherapy can go a little more deeper than just dressing wounds.
Yes, because you have a positive anchor. There is the common sentiment I hear about talk therapy experiences is that's where the deep, scary wounds that really, really hurt, that need to be dealt with delicately, are dealt with.
Yeah.
All the work is focused on the negative and letting the negative go, but very little of the time is spent on finding the positives to replace it. Because of that fact, in talk therapy, so much of the experience can be really digging into the nitty-gritty negative stuff that is overwhelming, and you don't really have a positive intention behind it other than to not feel like that anymore. You don't want to feel that way, so you go talk it out. But when you want to start feeling the other way, that gives you this positive anchor of hope. So while you have one foot anchored to this positivity, you can lean in and dig even deeper into some of this stuff past the event itself to shore up your internal structure to get you through it below that. Like, it can go so deep that it goes to the experience level of the person that went through the traumatic experience versus dealing with the trauma itself. It can connect you with the person beneath there. And that's like an emotional lifeline, internally so, that connects the mind and body.
All right, Stephen. Is there anything that you would like people to know about you, how to find you?
I am still working on a website, SJW Hypno, all one word. It will be up eventually. I am still working. I'm just stepping into the online presence of this. I built the structure of my practice. I built the practice itself behind the scenes before I wanted to step out into that world. So I'm finally getting ready to release a series of YouTube videos that I'm going to do, hopefully, one after another, if I can get that done myself, because I like to do things myself. So that YouTube channel will also be SJW Hypno. I like to keep it simple, and I like to keep it consistent. So sjwhypno.com eventually, and SJW Hypno on YouTube eventually. Hopefully in the next week or so, I should have at least something.
Can't wait. I'm excited to see it. Can't wait to see what you come up with for it.
Neither can I. I'm excited. It takes me back to the excitement I had when I mentioned my point of revelation, where I read that script to myself and I put myself into hypnosis. I can feel that same kind of excitement build, like a kid getting towards their birthday, excited for the event, or some big thing they get to do. And I find myself just, every little spare gap I have in my thought process is squeezing in another little thought. I'm so excited about this. I really feel like it's going to be me. Whatever it is I put out there is going to be unashamedly, completely, totally me. And I hope that resonates with somebody. That's the goal. If I could change one person's life for the better, it was absolutely worth the time it took. One person. I don't care if that person lives on the other side of the planet. If I write something and record something that makes somebody else's life better, what a gift to give another human being that I will never know.
So worth it.
So
Okay, so
thank you for having me on tonight. This was
thank
wonderful.
you for thank you so much for stepping in today and for really sharing your heart and your stories, your mission, I know our listeners are really walking away with insights that they can use right now. For real.
Well, thank you for having me.
And to everyone tuning in, remember, you can start your mornings with us every day at 9 Eastern, 8 Central for our free, morning meditations. And don't forget about Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central. We have our hypnotic imagery journeys. And if you're ready to go deeper, you can join us live at the She Reigns Now retreat, where women rise, soar, and conquer together. And you can find that at shereignsnow.com. So make sure that you hit the like, the subscribe, and follow, and share this episode with someone who needs it, because the story that you tell yourself matters. And sometimes sharing the story right changes everything. So until next time, keep rewriting your story. Bye, Flip Fam.